on one of the islands in the West Indies, and I spent a great deal of time visiting with them, and so I know them and their social circle, and they're older people. And one day there was a gathering of them and some of their friends, some of whom I didn't know, and a very elderly, beautifully groomed woman came to me and in a beautiful accent asked me my name. So I introduced myself. And her next question was, who are you married to? Oh, that's kind of a strange question. Who are you married to? She said. I said, oh, I'm not married. She said, well, did you have a husband? Like I lost him or misplaced him. I said, yes, and she asked who it was. And then she completely lost interest because it wasn't a name she recognized. It wasn't a name that was part of this very close colonial era circle. For them, family, genealogy, and who you were married to were everything, because they were small, continuing to shrink minority people in a country that had moved on past independence to become something other than what they remembered. So for them now, the most important thing is, who are you and who are you married to? For them, the family and your family, and if your family has the right name, are the most important things. And outside of that circle, you don't have any much, not very much value. It's the same issue that the Jews have today with Jesus. As a tribal society, for them, family, lineage, genealogy was everything. So when Jesus makes this wild claim, I am the bread of life, I am the bread of life come down from heaven, they go, wait a minute. Are you kidding? You live down the street from us. Aren't you Joseph's son? Like, we know your parents, your dad's a carpenter. What do you mean? And they dismiss him, they reject him, they're disappointed by him because his family is a family they know. And he's not a member of the Sadducees or the Pharisees. It's not a high family as for status. So this Jesus making this claim is dismissed by them because of his family origin. They saw him do a miracle. He made all this bread and fish multiply. They could accept that he might be a magician, but they couldn't accept that he could be the Son of God because they knew his family. And for them, family and family origin were the most important prescriptors for who you were. Outside of that, you weren't really anything. And so we have today in our scripture writings, how it is that family is defined and what it means for us. When we were little, my brother and I used to torture my younger sister. Because she had very blonde hair and blue eyes, and we had dark hair and brown eyes, we used to tell her she was adopted. And if she didn't start crying then, we would tell her, well, she wasn't really adopted, she was abandoned. We told her that the Irish washerwoman had left her on our doorstep in a basket. Yeah, and that my parents had taken her in out of pity. That we were still looking for her true family. I know. She's like, oh, that's so cruel. Yeah, we were children, we loved to make her cry. What could be more disappointing or scary than to think you don't have a family, that your family's missing? Yet, no family is perfect. Does anyone come from a perfect, beautiful family? We have the absolutely most dysfunctional family here again in the story of David. The story has moved on from him and Bathsheba. Their son has died, just as the prophet Nathan predicted. One of his other sons has raped one of his daughters, so Absalom, his other son, has killed his brother. So Absalom is on the run. David can't bear to hurt Absalom, so he lets him go on the run. Then after 2 years, he lets him come back, but he refuses to see him. So Absalom has started a revolution. And at this point in our story, it's David who's on the run. David's on the back foot. Absalom has kind of swept up popular opinion and is chasing David. So David's left with his few soldiers and his few lieutenants, and he sends them out one last time to see if they can defeat Absalom. And as we're told in the story, which was so well read by Linda, the forest claimed more victims than the sword that day. It was terrible ground for fighting. It was rocky, it was forested, it was difficult, it was dense. And Absalom, who's trying to escape, rides under a tree. Many of us have done that in our riding careers. And either got knocked off by the branch, or in Absalom's case, he had this luxurious long hair. Absalom was very fond of his hair. He grew his hair for a whole year, and at the end of the year, he would cut it off and start again. He was very proud of his hair. His hair caught him in a tree. The mule kept going, and he just hung there until Joab and his men caught up with him, and they killed him. So he has to send a report back to David. And David has said specifically, right in the first lines that we read today, don't kill him, don't hurt him. But as we know, Joab is no stranger to murder. He didn't have any problem killing Bathsheba's husband and 2 more other people, so this is a walk in the park for him. And when the soldiers were reluctant, he throws the first 3 spears, and then 10 of his men kill Absalom. So he's a bit afraid to tell David, so he sends a Cushite. Now the reason he sends a Cushite is because Cushite is another word for Ethiopian. So a black person seen from the watchtower coming towards you signaled bad news. So Joab figured David will see him coming from far off, he'll know it's bad news. Then when the messenger finally gets there, he will be prepared. And we see David once again in a sad tale of his fractured and disintegrating family, mourning for yet another son, mourning for yet another lost child. And he cries and he mourns. And later on, Joab will come in this story and give him some slaps and tell him, stop crying over people that were killed on the battlefield. You're embarrassing yourself. Be a king. This is the family. This is our family. We all have families that aren't perfect. Tolstoy said, every family is unhappy in its own way. But we all want to belong. We all want to belong to something. It's interesting to me in this time of people constantly doing this and not looking at each other, constantly engaged in social media, that as family dynamics and family connections have frayed and distances become greater, they have something like Ancestry.com pop up. People looking for their roots. People sending off, this one I'm amazed by, people putting their DNA in the mail and sending it off so they can find out what they are or who they are. So as the TV advert would tell us, you might be playing the bagpipes this week, but next week you're eating schnitzel and you find out you're not really Scottish. Or you might be happily tossing your pasta this week, but next week you might be shoveling up some paella and you find out you're not Italian, you're Spanish. But what does that make us? Does that give us something to belong to? Does it give us the identity and the belonging that we crave? Or people who go to great extent to find the family tree. Who is my great-great-great-great-grandmother on my father's side? And what can those dates or names or ties do for us? So Jesus suggests to us that our connectedness, our family, the place we belong, is with God. We belong with Him who created us. That is who we belong perfect. None of us is without sin. In fact, Paul writes this entire piece in Ephesians to warn us how to behave. He has to even tell the Christians, the young Christian community, how to behave, because they won't stop saying nasty things about each other. He tells them the worst sins are the ones we speak. And the word he uses for slander is the Greek word diabolos, which also means Satan. He doesn't use it anywhere else, but in this passage he uses another word. So in slander, in bad talk, in malice, in evil, the devil is at present and working within the Christian community, within the Christian family. So there is no perfect family. There is no one thing that you can cling on to, either by DNA or a huge genealogy or who we're married to. But we're children of God, Paul tells us. That's where our value is found. That's where our identity is formed. So sometimes when we feel like we don't belong, like our family is fragmented, like we don't have the perfect family, like we're not sure where we came from, Paul reminds us, you are children of God. God wants us for his family. God wants us to belong to him. If ever you're uncertain, you come into the church, you pick up that green book in front of you, and you turn to the top page of 161, and you're reminded of who you became in baptism and where you belong. You can receive you into the household of God. Confess the faith of Christ crucified, proclaim his resurrection, and share with us